I couldn't stop writing when Daddy was impressed. I couldn't stop writing when Mama taught me that practice makes perfect and didn't teach me how to settle for less. I couldn't stop when my geekiness meant that the cool kids wouldn't miss a chance to laugh at my best. I got an email, and then I got a call saying that there was going to be a slam organized by Kwani and the Goethe Institute, and that we needed to go in for a meeting. We were going to be competing against each other for first position in a one-round slam. Now, a one-round slam is already bad enough because you don't have a chance to warm up the crowd or warm up the judges to your style. You just have to go, and whatever you do in that first poem, that's it. That's the only shot you got. I couldn't stop when I had paper and pen in front of me, though I was meant to be studying for some French test. I couldn't stop when I grew up in an age where writing a love letter meant you're desperate. So I still have a chest of poems to crushes who crushed me when all I had was an awkward smile and shaky legs. I've always loved the English language, but I have not been the best at spelling and grammar. So when I was a teenager, being able to have fun with descriptions and have fun writing of my own accord, where I'm not going to have somebody tell me that this word is misspelled or that comma is in the wrong place. The way that I did that was through poetry, writing my own poems. It was like my rebellion and expression of a love of literature. I couldn't stop when I knew I couldn't cry in public for a statutory date rape that would never shame the culprit. I couldn't stop when Maya taught me that the caged bird sings. The people start walking in, and the names on that list are just like my mentors, the people who I've aspired to be like for since I started watching performance poetry. Namatsi, Kenneth B, El Poet, Wanjiko Maura, Dan Obala, people who I have always looked at and appreciated, and we were sitting on the same table and I couldn't believe it. Just having been selected to take part in that competition is an absolute honor. When I discovered that I too am a phenomenal woman, I knew it was possible to speak in a voice that would announce for billions. That lit a fire that would not accept me. When we were given these 6 days to prepare the piece, I was at war with my pen and my paper. I couldn't sleep. I was writing and rewriting and editing and tearing it apart and putting it back together. And the thing is, I realized that the strongest thing I could do was to speak about the thing that was closest to my heart at that particular point in time, which is there was a slight xenophobic air that engulfed Nairobi after the Westgate attack. And the way that people would look at me on the street, the way that people would look at me in matatus, like with fear. I think when it comes to competitions and poetry, they must be compared, because that gives a chance for people to get better. It gives them challenges to try to overcome, and for that reason it's vital. But I don't think poetry in itself is really comparable. I think there are ways in which every single other artist in that competition was better than me on that day. But according to the criteria that was picked and the way the judges received what I said, I happened to win, and that's a blessing.